Here are 3 alternative ways you can use your vote to voice your discontent with our two-party system. The mass media has already concluded that next year's election will be a rematch of Trump versus Biden. They act like this is a certainty. They act like there's nothing any of us could do about it. That is objectively false. There's still time to change the political calculus. We just have to vote in the primaries. And nobody says we need to vote for either Trump or Biden. There's more than one way to deploy your vote in the coming year. The establishment loves when voters sit on the sidelines. We are actively encouraged to believe that our votes are essentially meaningless. They are not. The only way to ensure that we have a Trump-Biden rematch is to do nothing and let the people who usually vote handle it. Here are 3 alternative ways you can use your vote to voice your discontent with our two-party system. First, make sure you're registered. You can't vote unless you're registered. If you're pissed off and want to participate next year, go get registered now. There are multiple ways to do it. Some states even allow you to do it online or by mail. Going to the DMV is one sure way to make it happen. To maximize your impact, try talking as many of your friends into registering as well. Voting together is empowering. There are 2 ways to use your vote strategically during the primaries. If you're someone who's okay with Joe Biden winning the Democratic nomination, but you're anxious about Biden's ability to beat Donald Trump, you could always register as a Republican and vote against Trump in the primary. The mass media says that Trump is a lock to win. But if millions of non-voters or independent voters decided to participate in the Republican primaries, he could still lose. It is theoretically possible, however unlikely. But if enough people decided to join together in protest to support, I don't know, Doug Burgum or Asa Hutchinson, things could get much more interesting. In my opinion, there are no good Republican challengers. They would all make terrible presidents. But disaffected voters could throw enough sand into the mechanisms of the Republican primaries that Trump loses. Last time I checked, anyone who wants can still vote in the Republican primary. So, consider it. Here's another way of voting strategically if you're not jazzed about a Trump-Biden rematch. Vote for Marianne Williamson in the Democratic primary. If you don't think Grandpa Joe is up to the task, do something about it. Williamson is a perfectly legitimate option. According to recent polls, she's at 8 or 9% against Biden. The Democrats will probably still try to monkey with the results like they did with Bernie Sanders back in 2016, but nothing says you can't pull the lever for Williamson if you want. She may not be perfect, but no candidate is perfect. At least she talks the talk. I think she'd probably be a stronger candidate against Trump, too. Finally, everybody's going to hate me for saying it, but if it's Trump and Biden in the general election and you don't like either of them, you can still vote for RFK Jr. Recent polls have him above 20%, which means he's a serious contender. A vote for RFK Jr. is even better if you're someone who voted for Trump before and can't stomach pulling the lever for Biden, or if you didn't vote in the last election. RFK Jr. could win with as little as 34% of the vote in your state if it's a 3-way race. Just something to think about, friends. We don't have to accept Trump or Biden if we don't want them. Your vote has power, especially if you are historically a non-voter. Non-voters can make a real difference. If you're unhappy with the status quo, use your vote to send a message. Make it count. Please give a like, follow, favorite, and subscribe to my free Substack. Let's make them pay.